The night was darker than usual clouds, swallowing the moonlight as if even the sky wanted to keep its secrets. Ethan Caldwell, the man newspapers called the billionaire with a broken smile, had just finished another exhausting board meeting. His life looked perfect on paper: luxury penthouse, endless zeros in his accounts, staff that called him sir with reverence. But behind the tailored suits and sharp jawline was a man living on autopilot. He slid into the back seat of his black Bentley, nodding to his driver until something in the shadows made him freeze. There, slumped in the corner of the back seat, was a woman. Her head rested against the leather, eyes half closed, one hand gripping a folded piece of paper, the other protectively on her stomach. Ethan's heartbeat spiked. Who are you? How did you get in here?" No response, just a faint groan. He leaned closer, switching on the reading light. The soft glow revealed a young woman, her face pale, her hair tangled from rain, her dress clinging damply to her body. And then his gaze dropped to her stomach. She was visibly pregnant. For a moment, the world outside vanished: the city lights, the noise, the endless movement. All he saw was this stranger breathing shallowly in his car, holding a piece of paper as if her life depended on it. "Marcus," he called to his driver, "pull over, now." The car rolled to the curb, and Ethan gently shook the woman's shoulder. "Miss, can you hear me?" Her eyelids fluttered. Ethan Caldwell," she whispered, barely audible. Then she held out the paper. Her hand trembled as she did. He took it slowly, unfolding the note with cautious fingers. 4 words were written in shaky penmanship. "She's yours. Help her, please." Ethan's throat went dry. His name was scrawled at the bottom in handwriting he recognized instantly. It belonged to Clara Monroe, the woman he had loved 8 years ago, the one who vanished without goodbye. He stared at the note, his chest tightening. "Clara?" he murmured, almost to himself. The woman winced, clutching her stomach. "Please, help me," she whispered, before slipping into unconsciousness. Ethan acted without thinking. Hospital, now. The driver floored the accelerator, the Bentley slicing through the rain-slick streets. Ethan held the woman steady, her head resting against his chest. Memories of Clara flooded his mind: her laughter, the last night they spent together before she disappeared, and the unanswered question that haunted him every sleepless night since: why did she leave? When they reached the hospital, Ethan carried the woman inside himself, his expensive suit soaked through, ignoring the startled looks from nurses. "She's pregnant, she needs help." Doctors rushed her into the emergency ward. Ethan stood outside, pacing, drenched and restless. He read the note again, fingers trembling. It made no sense. Clara was gone dead, for all he knew. And now, a stranger with her handwriting lay unconscious, pregnant, with a note begging him to help. A nurse approached. "Mr. Caldwell, she's stable, exhausted and dehydrated, but both mother and baby are fine. She'll need rest." He nodded, relief flooding through him. "Can I see her?" "Only for a few minutes." He stepped quietly into the dim hospital room. Machines hummed softly. The woman lay pale but peaceful under thin blankets. Her features seemed more familiar now. High cheekbones, a faint dimple when her lips twitched in sleep. She looked like Clara, and yet not. Ethan sank into the chair beside her bed. "Who are you?" he whispered. "And what do you know about Clara?" The hours passed slowly. He stayed until dawn crept through the blinds, golden light brushing against her face. Finally she stirred. Her eyes fluttered open gray, soft, but filled with fear. "Where am I?" "In the hospital," Ethan replied gently. "You were in my car. You fainted. Do you remember?" She blinked, confusion flickering across her face. "Your car?" Then her eyes widened. "You're Ethan Caldwell." He nodded, cautious. "Yes, and you are—" She hesitated, as if weighing whether to trust him. "My name is Lily Monroe." His heart skipped. "Monroe?" She looked away, tears forming. "Clara Monroe was my sister." The air left his lungs. For a moment, he couldn't move, couldn't think. "Clara's sister?" Lily continued, voice trembling. "She died 3 months ago. Cancer. Before she passed, she gave me that note. She said if anything happened to me or the baby, I should find you." "The baby?" Ethan whispered. She nodded slowly. "It's yours." Silence, the kind that filled every corner of the room, pressing against the walls. Ethan's pulse pounded in his ears. "That's impossible. Clara and I, we only— years ago." "She told me everything," Lily interrupted softly. "Before she died, she made me promise I'd find you. She said you deserved to know." Ethan leaned back, stunned, his world tilting. Clara had kept such a secret, his child, her illness, her sister's existence. He rubbed his forehead, his voice breaking. "Why didn't she tell me? Why let me think she just left?" Lily's eyes glistened. "She didn't want to hold you back. She said you were destined for something bigger. She thought you'd stop chasing your dreams if you knew." He let out a bitter laugh that sounded more like a sob. "Dreams? I lost them the day she walked out of my life." Lily's tears spilled freely now. "I didn't know what else to do. I had nowhere to go. I found your car unlocked. I was scared." Ethan stood, struggling to find words. He wanted to be angry at her, at Clara, at the world, but all he could feel was a deep ache, one that years of money and power had never filled. Finally, he said softly, "You don't have to be scared anymore. You and the we. Baby, you'll stay with me." Lily shook her head weakly. "You don't owe me anything, Mr. Caldwell." He looked at her, his eyes gentle but resolute. "Maybe not, but I owe her everything." The room went silent again, the sun now rising higher, its light warm and golden over both of them, two strangers bound by one woman's final wish. As Ethan turned toward the window, the note still folded in his hand, he knew his life was about to change forever. Days turned into a quiet rhythm at the Caldwell estate. The storm that had brought Lily into Ethan's life had faded, leaving behind a stillness neither of them could quite explain. The mansion once filled only with the echo of Ethan's footsteps, now held the faint hum of life again, the soft clatter of breakfast dishes, the distant sound of Lily's laughter as she spoke to the housekeeper, and the fluttering heartbeat of the unborn child that linked them both to a woman they had lost. Ethan found himself spending more time away from his office. His assistant noticed the change, meetings delayed, calls unanswered, stock reports left unopened. He didn't care. Something within him had shifted. Every time he passed by the sitting room and saw Lily reading by the window, her hand resting on her stomach, a quiet peace filled him. And yet, beneath it all, questions still lingered like shadows. One evening, as golden light streamed through the tall windows, Ethan brought out a small wooden box. "This belonged to Clara," he said softly, setting it before Lily. "I never opened it. I couldn't." Lily traced her fingers over the lid, tears forming. She used to keep letters in boxes like these. Inside were dozens of notes, all written in Clara's elegant handwriting. Some were to her sister, some unsent, and one sealed with Ethan's name. He hesitated, then opened it. Ethan, if you're reading this, it means I couldn't tell you the truth myself. I loved you more than my fear of dying, but I wanted you to live freely. You once told me you wanted to build an empire that mattered. I just didn't want to be the reason you stopped dreaming, but dreams mean nothing if they aren't shared. If Lily finds you, please protect her. She carries not just my blood, but yours too. Love always, Clara. Ethan's vision blurred. His hands trembled as he set the letter down. He turned toward Lily, whose tears fell silently. She was always thinking of you, Lily whispered, even in her last days. He reached across the table, placing his hand over hers. I wasn't there for her, but I'll be there for you. For both of you. The promise wasn't grand, but it carried weight. In that moment, the walls of regret that had surrounded Ethan for years began to crumble. He didn't see Lily as a reminder of loss anymore, but as a living connection to the woman he'd never stopped loving, and a second chance he never thought he'd have. Months later, the cry of a newborn echoed through the same hospital where Lily had once lain unconscious. Ethan stood by her side, eyes glistening as the nurse placed the tiny baby girl in Lily's arms. She has her mother's eyes, Lily said softly. Ethan smiled through tears, and her strength. As the baby gripped his finger, Ethan felt something he hadn't in years, a sense of peace. Clara was gone, but her love had found a way to live on, through her sister, through their child, through the quiet redemption that had come not in fortune, but in forgiveness. Outside, the dawn broke once more, spilling light across the world that had almost forgotten how to feel.